Welcome, beautiful people, to my channel. It's your girl Positive Vibez Des, better known as Des Bless or just Destiny. And I wanted to welcome you guys back to another Wellness Wednesdays. And today is the day in which we wrap up our series on the 8 dimensions of wellness. So today I'm here to bring you that last dimension of wellness, which is, drumroll please, emotional wellness. So why did I leave emotional wellness till the last, you might ask? Well, I originally didn't intentionally mean to leave it till the last. I kind of just worked through each dimension as it came to me each week, and as I noticed that I was getting towards the end of breaking down each dimension, I realized that I hadn't done emotions yet. But then I'm like, emotional wellness might be a good one to leave till the very last, because I believe that emotional wellness is really or heavily influenced by all the other dimensions. As I mentioned in my What is Wellness videos that you can find right here, all these dimensions are interconnected. They all influence each other one way or another, but understanding and knowing that emotional wellness is impacted a lot more by these other dimensions if they're off, if they're not functioning well. Just really being able to sift through how we can get those other dimensions flowing and going well, so that our emotional wellness can be thriving at its best. So now that I kind of gave you all that spill of how, why emotional wellness was last, let's actually get a working definition of what emotions are. So before we get into it, I do want to say, please bear with me, guys. You will hear me sniffling a lot. I am a bit under the weather, but guess what? We're pushing through. So bear with me and ignore the little sniffles and congestion. Aside from that, so of course, textbook definition. I always like to give you guys the textbook, then break it down in regular terms. But the textbook definition of emotions is a feeling that derives from a mental reaction to a circumstance, our mood, or our relations with others that typically is accompanied by a physiological and behavioral change in the body. Like I said, textbook definition, right? So in regular terms, emotions is defined by a feeling that we get that starts in the mind that eventually translates into the body, which is a reaction to circumstances or situations, our mood, and our relations to others. So now that we've defined what emotions are, let's talk about how we can have these emotions to be functioning at its best, so that our emotions are doing well. So emotional wellness is understood to be our ability to successfully deal with life stressors and have the ability to adapt to changes in our lives. So I wanted to leave you guys with some things to think about when you're navigating or trying to work towards that ability to cope with life stressors and deal with changes in our lives in a way that is leading you to a healthy emotional balance. So first things first, as the definition already suggests, developing healthy coping skills. Coping skills, coping strategies, coping tools, however you want to name it, it is all the same. But the purpose and key of coping skills is to A, not avoid whatever the stressor, the circumstance, or whatever it is, and B, allows you to be able to sit with whatever the feeling, the emotion is, move through it, and then eventually move past it so that you can continue to feel better. The way for coping skills to be effective is actually acknowledging whatever it is that you're feeling, from either being sad, frustrated, overwhelmed, tired, whatever it is. What can I do to help shift my mood? I acknowledge that I feel that way, but I'm going to do this thing to help bring me back to a level of I guess contentment and not feeling so emotionally driven. And like I said, the main thing that's going to actually help you to have healthy coping skills is making sure that it is not an avoiding task that you're doing, right? Like going to sleep or engaging in substance use and all these other stuff. But those don't help. They help you feel better in the moment, but they don't, you know, take away whatever that was stressing you in the first place. If you don't acknowledge it, if you don't recognize it, label it for what it is, again, you're just avoiding it, and that doesn't help. So the second tip really partners with the first tip, in which I talked about with coping skills, because it is about being aware of and validating your emotions that you're feeling based on the experience that you just had. Always trying to tap into and pay attention to and allow yourself to feel those feelings and validate them, right? Sometimes we feel a lot of negative emotions. We may feel rage or whatever the case is, and we may try to shy away from that, but that allows us to shut off or cut off from our emotions. But to achieve emotional wellness, you have to be very aware of the emotions that you're feeling based on whatever experience you just had. The final tip that I want to share with you guys is being able to, again, experience your emotions and appropriately express whatever those emotions are, right? And I know for some people, especially our emotions is not a thing, right? But there is a sense of release of getting those emotions out, whether you express it verbally, whether you express it through writing it down, through art, whatever it is, but being able to appropriately express those emotions, channeling that emotion, that frustration, whatever it is, in a healthy and appropriate way is what's going to allow your emotional wellness to flourish, because you're not keeping it inside, it's not pent up or bubbling over, and you're able to express it, get it out there, right? The fourth tip that I want to share with you guys is how to develop the skills needed to healthily deal with confrontation and being able to be assertive in a way that is, again, beneficial to expressing and letting out your emotion. So what can that look like? You're able to say, okay, hey, I felt like X, Y, and Z because you did X, Y, and Z, and you know, so on, so on. But at that point, you are confronting the situation, you're confronting the person, but it's not in a way that is super confrontational. Yes, you're confronting it, but it's not in a negative way. Yes, you're being assertive, but you are doing this in a way that is effective so that you can get your emotions out and also be heard. Now, the final tip that I wanted to share with you guys is having healthy relationships. Why? Because we all have relations with someone, right? Whether it's parents, friends, spouse, significant others, we are relational beings, so we're always going to be in relations with someone. If you have healthy relationships, you are able to be in a better emotional state because you're not either always stressed, frustrated, overwhelmed, right? You're not dealing with the toxicity of unhealthy relationships, right? Because if you are constantly dealing with unhealthy relationships, your emotional state is always going to be wavering. So by definition, as I said, with emotions, it's a response or reaction to either circumstances, mood, or our relations to others. So if we have healthy relationships, then our emotional state will be in a much better place. So those are the tips that I wanted to leave you with in order to help improve your emotional wellness. Now that we've spent time discussing all these different areas of wellness, environmental, emotional, intellectual, financial, spiritual, physical, social, and vocational. I wanted to just wrap it all up in a nice bow and reiterate what I've been saying from the beginning, that all of these dimensions have been put together to give people the blueprint to work towards being their best or fullest versions of themselves when they are at optimal wellness. As I said, wellness is on a continuum. Sometimes we're going to be doing extremely well on all dimensions. Other times we'll be in the middle where some are going really well, others are not. But we're able to kind of work them out so that they are flowing and going. And then sometimes they're all off, they're all out of whack. And we hopefully realize that and work our way back to being on that other side of the continuum. Now, I really want us to open up the discussion to what are some things that you have done to kind of help you find or gain that balance. And then thinking about when it's hard, what is it that helps kind of bring you back to focus? Because again, the goal is to find that peace and balance through wellness. So our wellness journey does not stop here. As I said before, I will continue to bring you wellness videos, as that's, part of the focus of my channel: motivation, wellness, and lifestyle. With all of those wonderful things being discussed throughout this video, I hope that you learn, can apply, and share the knowledge with someone else. And be sure that you are subscribed and turn on your post notifications so that you are aware of every time that I post. I thank you all for watching, and do know that I am always wishing you peace, love, and light.